Before we get in the program, Holly, it's time for this week's joke of the week.
Why was the cucumber mad?
Something about he got pickled?
He was in a pickle.
Oh, he was in a pickle. Mm-hmm. I've got a bonus one for you.
Okay.
How do spiders communicate?
Through the interweb or something?
Through the World Wide Web.
World Wide Web.
Yeah.
Okay.
These jokes are brought to you today by Rescue.com.
American-made rescue products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pest insects like wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. You can find out more at rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com. So we're going to talk about what's in our soil, basically.
Understanding soil nutrients. And there's all different types of things that are going on in the soil besides what we may think we know. The big three, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. There's a lot of other stuff happening in the soil.
Yeah, and I mean, when we talk about what's in your soil, obviously there's like organic matter, there's decomposers, dirt, there's decomposers, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about the nutrients.
Actually, I think soil is the proper term, not dirt. Dirt is like is dead soil, and soil's live.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in this case, we're referring to the nutrients that exist in your soil. So the first one we have is nitrogen. Nitrogen is a key element in plant growth. I mean, obviously these all are, but it is found in plant cells, plant proteins, hormones, and chlorophyll. So this is what creates like the main building block of plants. It's the green parts. It is what helps with the chlorophyll.
Without nitrogen, you get your green, you get your yellowing color in your pigmentation of your peppers or your eggplants or your tomatoes.
Yeah, and it also, is it the corn? Did we add a bunch of nitrogen?
We add a lot of nitrogen when we did corn because it is such a heavy feeder. So that's the big one. Potassium is also, it helps transfer energy from the sunlight to the plant, and early root and plant growth. It helps in that aspect as well.
The phosphorus, that's the P.
Yeah, the P, the phosphorus.
Did we say nitrogen is the N?
In it, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure we covered that part.
Wherever you're listening from in the world, NPK, same three letters, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are all the same, universal, anywhere in the world. One of the few things in the world that is the same no matter where you're at.
Yes. So then for phosphorus, yeah, so we covered that, and then we're going to talk about potassium. My brain got stuck.
Potassium, that's what people think is in bananas, that you soak them in water, and then you water your plants, and it's the best thing since biblical times, you know.
Sliced bread.
Yeah, sliced bread, which is a false garden myth. Doesn't do anything. So don't soak your banana peels. Put them in the compost pile or bury them.
You could, I mean, just for funsies,
for funsies. But don't expect what you read online. Oh, we did that. We do that to all the plants, and they're just phenomenal.
Because I was gonna water my story time. I was gonna water my my plants on the porch, and I had a bucket of water ready to go. I was going to do it on my lunch or something, and I put I had a banana, you need a banana, we put it in there. And in that time, from the morning to my lunchtime, it did get kind of banana smelling. So. Yeah,
but the potassium volume of potassium per unit would not have even been registering.
No.
Because the banana
didn't hurt my plants.
No.
Anyway, they appreciate the watering. So potassium, that is it moves like the sugars, the starches, etc. around the plants. And it can improve the fruit quality. So I always say it's for the fruit and the root, and that's what it's for. It helps that. So then those are the three main nutrients.
Well, also potassium can be also substituted, or the verbiage can be potash, because in the day that you would take the ash and put it in a pot and then take it to the garden. That's where they get that terminology from. In large agriculture, it's still considered potash, not potassium. Poundage of potash per acre is how it's figured.
Okay, so yeah, we got the K there, so that's the NPK. Those are the three major elements, nutrients, whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna move on to the micro ones. So we got calcium. If you are looking for it, it's a capital C and a lowercase a. Or otherwise, it should just say calcium, and this is good for root health. Growth of new roots and root hair. So the calcium helps that the root. So that's
there you go.
Yeah. Then we have magnesium, and that's the M, capital M, lowercase g. It helps with the chlorophyll, the green coloring of the plants, and it is vital for photosynthesis. So that's, if you don't know what photosynthesis is, it's what the process of the plant getting the energy, the life from the sun, and then turning that into the plant. That's kind of is what breaks it down. Yeah. So we also then have sulfur, and sulfur is the capital S on the bag or the package or whatever. And it's
now some of these may not actually be labeled.
Yeah.
But in that aspect.
But if you are looking at a bag and you're like, what does all this mean? This is kind of the breakdown.
And if you go to ivorganics.com, they have specially blend fertilizers that actually contain more than the NPK. It's the NPK plus the calcium, magnesium, and the sulfate. And that's ivorganic.com. And you use coupon code RADIO at checkout and save 10% on your order. That's ivorganic.com and use radio at checkout to save 10% on your order.
Right. Okay, so sulfur is a bunch of amino acids put together, and it just gives it energy producing elements.
Yeah.
Now, if your sulfur is low, it's not really a problem if you have a soil high in organic matter. So if you have like a very
and how do we know this?
Rich organic soil, maybe you bought a rich organic soil,
or a soil test from Soil Savvy.
Yeah, that's good too.
Not that we are pushing sponsors, but to be clear, these are the people that pay the bills in order for us to be heard on your radio station, and they are products in which we use and we trust. We don't push products that are junk.
Right.
That's
absolutely.
why we've gone 8 years and be able to finance the show through real sponsors and not fly-by-night people.
Absolutely. All right. So then those are those nutrients we just covered: the calcium, magnesium, sulfur. Was that the three of them? Yeah. Those are like the macronutrients. Then we have like these further trace element nutrients that occur in your soil, and they are, I don't want to say lesser because this makes up all of your soil, and you want all of these things in your soil. So iron, that's, if you're looking at the bag, it'll be capital F, lowercase e. It does help regulate and promote growth, and it's there. It's good. Iron in our bodies is good. It's also good in our soils. Manganese is the capital M, lowercase n, and it helps again with photosynthesis. Sometimes it lacks if you have a sandy soil, it can be lacking. So if you know that you have sandy soil and you want to get a soil test done, maybe that would be kind of fun.
There's about 30 vitamins and minerals in macronutrients that humans need to consume regularly. Also, that means the soil needs the right amount in order for the plants to uptake, in order to get the right vitamins and minerals, in order for us to eat better.
Yeah.
The vegetables have lost so much over the last 100 years because the density of the soil and the density of the plant, and we've lost so many varieties too. They've been commercially, in some instances, purposely extinct, in which they don't store well, they don't travel well, so we don't need to grow them anymore. That type of thing.
Right. All right. So then that was the manganese. Then the copper is it's just there. It's I lost my
copper. Cu. Copper is an essential element there.
Enzymes. Some of this stuff is just like
there's zinc and boron and many different other ones here you can look at, and you can do a soil test and figure out what you have and what you don't have. And it is crucial. It's not, you have these in your soil. If you've been gardening, you have these in your soil to the level in which would be needed to up your game to get the proper availability for your plants. That I don't have an answer to. That's what part of the soil test is for.
And I think that it's good to note that you might, just because you have a lot of organic matter or you see a lot of worms or whatever, doesn't mean that your soil is necessarily the healthiest or has the most nutrients. It is good to know what's going on in your soil from time to time.
Because anything that's growing in your soil, weeds, vegetables, fruit. It's taking nutrients out of the soil. It's depleting the soil. So you're going to have to either put it back in, add something to it to get that back to the point of, okay, we're back to net zero now. We're back where we was before we started planting this year in order to get the best opportunity. It is an investment, just like anything else you do. Whether you've got housing or you've got rentals or you collect cars or whatever it is, you're investing. You're putting something into it in the hopes that maybe A, you're going to get something out of it, or two, for the pure enjoyment of this is what I accomplished. I was able to grow stuff to feed my family.
Right. So speaking of that, feeding your family, we're brought to you today by the sponsor, Walton's Inc. Listen, we know you care about where your food comes from. Canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables is great, but what about the meat? At Walton's, you can get all the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. If you want to make snack sticks that people will actually like, then you can go to meatgistics.com, an informational site to help you make the best finished product. Walton's even has a full line of their own meat grinders, mixers, and sausage stuffers to help you go from animal to edible. Walton's, everything but the meat. You can use code GROW50, that's GROW50, to save 10% off your orders of $50 or more.